Good evening, all you beautiful people out there. On this beautiful, lovely summer's evening, I'm going to show you another quick cook from scratch. What we're going to do is we're going to make beautiful apple juice that you can drink cold, you can chill it in the fridge, or you can warm it and have it like a tea, and it's absolutely wonderful. And so good for you, so good for the mind, the body and the soul. Let's see how simple this is first. Basically, all you do is take, amazingly enough, these particular apples are scrumped from a 500-year-old orchard in Garlinge, which are fields just at the back of where I live. Absolutely amazing. These trees are just there, they're abundant with fruit, no one taking them, just took them from the floor, but amazing fruit. These are a little bit bitter, but what I've done, I don't know whether you can see in there, I've got some old shop bought apples that actually, sorry if you can't see me there, the video only shows a certain amount. I've got some old shop bought apples that were a little bit going off almost, but what I've done is I put those in there with the scrumped apples to act as a little bit of a sweetener. You don't need to add, I don't think you need to add any additional sugars. Obviously that's bad for you anyway. Let's just have the natural taste and the natural sugars of the fruit, yeah? Okay, it's so simple. All I do is get an apple like so, yeah? So this is a small one that has been scrumped from this ancient orchard. Have a little bit of music on so you can dance or sing, or maybe not sing. But anyway, and then you just cut the apple, I don't know if you can see on the video, I just cut the sides of the apple around the core. So I'm making 4 incisions and I end up with obviously 4 pieces of apple and just a core, which you sometimes can throw in, but I must admit, all the little bad bits and the core, I just cut out and just put to one side. You can use them for something else, but we'll go into that later, yeah? These bits just go into a big pot, which I've prepared earlier. I knew this was going to happen. What I do is, a rule of thumb, I would say, is you'd use about 1.5 litres of water. 1.5 litres, yeah? Okay? It's difficult with apples because they're all different sizes. This is larger, obviously these are smaller. So what I do, as a rule of thumb, about 6 or 7 large apples, I use 1 litre of water, yeah? And I boil the water in the kettle first to make it easy to boil up. Then pour that all in on top of the apples that we've cut. As I say, it's some forage ones, you don't have to scrump them. You might not be near a 500-year-old orchard, but you can just buy apples cheap enough. Have a little sing, have a little dance, enjoy yourself. Get rid of the bad bits. Just like the bad bits, the bad energy in your heart. We all get it, but just cast it off. Easy to cast off. And get the good energy flooding back in. What I do, when I come back, after this, you've got to leave this simmering, I'd say, for at least 5 or 6 hours. Very low though, so you don't need to use a lot of gas or electric or whatever you're using. So just leave it on very low, and what will happen is the water will infuse with all the beautiful apple flavours, and basically the apple that's left is almost worthless. It's like a little bit like a pulp, but it doesn't really get that pulpy. It's still reasonably solid, so you can sieve it, or sometimes you can just pour the water out, and it's a beautiful natural apple juice. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on cutting these. As I say, just enjoy yourself. You can tell jokes. I've got a joke actually. But it sounds rude, but it isn't. It's one of those, yeah? So there's a load of nuns going to paint. Right? A load of nuns are in their nunnery. Is it a nunnery? I guess it is. They're all in this nunnery and they decide to paint the walls. But they've got all this lovely blue paint and they're painting the walls. And well, why don't we take our vestments off? They all say there's about 4 nuns. Let's say there's 4, yeah? 4 nuns. We'll take our vestments off because we're going to get paint all over us, you know. It doesn't matter, we're only nuns, we're all here, we can all be naked together and just paint the walls, yeah? It's not going to be rude, honest. And so they're painting the walls, they take their vestments off, oh, this is so liberating, you know. and they're painting away on the walls, painting the ceilings. Then suddenly there's a knock at the door in the nunnery. I think, oh, we're not expecting anyone, so they think, oh my God, we've taken all our holy vestments off, what are we going to do? So the head nun who's with them goes, oh, I'll go and answer the door, I'll tell them to go away or whatever. And then she shouts through the letterbox of the door. She says, oh, who is it? Who is it? And a guy's voice comes back, oh, it's a blind man. So she goes, oh, it's okay, it's just a blind man, we can invite him in. He won't know that we haven't got our vestments off. So she undoes all the locks, lets this guy in, and this guy comes in a bit confused and looks at all the nuns, and there's younger nuns and the older nun. He looks at them all and he goes, oh, nice tits. He's like, where do you want the blinds? Okay, I told you it was clean-ish. All right, I'll be back for part 2 sometime later. Okay, namaste. Have a beautiful evening, you lovely ones. Bye. Bye for now.